Smitty went to Chaffee High School, which is right here in Ontario, Rancho, Cucamonga area. I coached at Chaffee College, obviously, years ago. So he's a legend in those parts and all over. And I can't thank him enough for hopping on here. And our main man, NFL Hall of Famer, Anthony Muñoz, joins the show. Can't thank him enough.
Gentlemen, how you doing? How's it going?
Good. How you doing, brother? Appreciate you coming on.
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Honor and pleasure to have you on.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man. Hey,
you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about Chaffee High School. You coach at Chaffee College. So we're from the IE, as they say. You got to mention that. The IE.
I live here now. I'm feeling IE. I'm doing the show from the IE. Smitty's in Inglewood area.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He lives right there on right there in the hood.
Yeah, in the hood. That's right.
Yeah. Real comfortable though. Real comfortable out here.
Yeah. It's funny because I hear a story every day about you because I do a show after my show. I do a show with Shaun Salisbury, so he tells me a new story every day about you. So all the legendary SC stuff. So
he's a guy, man. Big Shaun. He's still working it, huh? He's still doing it.
Man, he's still doing it. He's got all these different shows going on. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Let me ask you right out the gate, man. I right out in the morning on the West Coast. Thanks for everybody hopping in. You're a Bengal legend, and we've had a bunch of different guys on lately. I've had Willie Anderson and different guys on the show, and I want to know your perspective on the so-called cheap franchise kind of quote that everyone throws out there. Because Willie had he had a good interesting take. He said, "Listen, man, the Bengals have paid a lot of us too." And he's like, a lot of people, every franchise has that if you dive into it. Where are you at with this franchise, particularly handling the Shemar Stewart situation, this rookie who's not signed and hasn't, I don't know, he may go back to college. There's all kind of things that are going to happen here. Where are you at with that particular deal? And then Trey Hendrickson also not being signed on the other side.
Well, let's put it this way. They call him a cheap franchise. Joe's making 55. Chase is making 40. You got they got about 145 million between the three. I don't see that being cheap at all, man. That's been their tag the whole time. But when you have guys that are worth it, they're going to take care of them. I mean, to me, and I know I'm a Cincinnati guy, but I watch a lot of football. If I was going to start a franchise and you give me one pick quarterback, I'm taking number 9. I mean, I know Josh Allen's unbelievable. You got Mahomes, you got Goff, you go right down Jalen Hurts, but I'm going to take Joe. I mean, I'm going to take Joe because, just who he is as a person, as a player. This number 1 pick, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff that's being thrown out there. I've never met the guy. I hope he signs and I hope he lights it on fire. I hope he gets more than 4 sacks in 4 years or 3 years that he had in college. Supposedly he's an unbelievable athlete. I mean, you have to have something to be that high of a draft pick. But as we know, Cincinnati's had their share of guys they've taken the first round that haven't panned out. So all I'm saying, the other guys are in camp. I've been there the last 2 days watching the guys. And to me, they're ready to go. I just hope, Shemar's ready to go. And, once they sign, and it's going to happen. I mean, you could, when I was coming out, it was, you go up to Canada or you sit out, but that's a lot of money to turn down for a young man. Well, maybe not nowadays with the NIL.
Right.
I understand why guys stay in college 6, 7, 8 years. I look at guys and I said, man, this guy's 27. I was in my 6th year in the NFL. These guys are still in college. But, the Trey Hendrickson thing, I mean, the guy's played unbelievable football. I think he just signed an extension a couple years ago. The crazy thing about it, and, the team has you, is that you're under contract. I mean, that's the one thing they have you with. But, I would think that a guy that disrupts things and rushes the passer like he does, that they would take care of him. I don't know Trey that well. I know him well enough to sit and chat with them. But to me, if you're going to pay a guy a ton of cash, I mean, you got to be able to stop the run too. I mean, you got to show up every down and stop the run and be 1 to 3 defensive end. But again, what he's done rushing the passer the last couple of years, it's been amazing.
No doubt. You sound like me right now, Anthony. I'm just telling you. I try to tell you guys, Micah Parsons is probably going to be the next highest paid non-quarterback in the history of football. And he's a guy that I question stopping the run, not trying to get in there. He don't want to get in the B gap, Anthony. He don't want to get in the B gap.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people understand that, but sounds like that's kind of like Trey's deal too, you think, especially he's led the league in sacks 2 years in a row, but I don't know. There's a reason why he's not signed right now, in my opinion, and I'm not in the office. We had Solomon Wilcox on yesterday, another Bengal, a former Bengal, and he was saying, like, similar things that you are, but
let's look at a guy that rushes the passer, gets after it, but he's willing to get in the A gap, the B gap, the C gap. He'll get in all three gaps at the same time, and I don't like him because he wears that black and gold. But Watt over at Pittsburgh, I mean, the man plays the run. He's going to take you one-on-one if he has to, but then he's going to rush the passer. He's going to intercept passes. So to me, if you're going to get that big money, you got to be able to, 3rd and 1, get your nose in there, get it dirty, and stop the run.
Smitty, one more thing.
I agree with. I agree with that statement. I guess for me though, if the Bengals don't pay him, they're basically just saying that they believe as a franchise they're okay without him, because we know the NFL, somebody will pay him. If the Bengals don't pay him, somebody's going to pay a guy who's leading the league in sacks. We know how important sacks are. They've always been important, but in today's game, as much as guys pass the ball and they're in shotgun, if you can lead the league in sacks, you're highly valuable. So if they're not going to pay them, then they're basically saying, "Hey, we're good with you. You going somewhere else."
No, I hear you. That's going to happen. That's the nature of the beast. That's going to happen. But I'm not saying they shouldn't pay him because, like you said, he's led the league the last 2 years in sacks, and I would love to see him back rushing the passer, because last year he was the only one getting to the passer. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully when we open up against Cleveland up in Cleveland, that he's there rushing the passer and getting after. I was going to say, I don't know which one of those 5 quarterbacks are going to be starting, but hopefully he's getting after one of those Cleveland quarterbacks.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: in your opinion, is Cincinnati? Let's just say they don't get Hendrickson, and they because last year, in my opinion, the defense cost him an MVP and a big time playoff run, as well as they were playing towards the end, and they just didn't mathematically didn't get in because even though they went on a run. Are they wasting Joe Burrow's greatness if they don't get something done on defense and get him back to another Super Bowl? He went Super Bowl year 2 in his career and hasn't been back since. Are they wasting him, in your opinion? As great a talent as he is, he's I'm with you. He's one of my favorite. I think he's a top 2 quarterback right now. But are they wasting him?
I don't know if they're wasting him, but I mean, they got to. I agree. I don't think, at least in my humble opinion, the way they were rolling offensively, and if they would have had, I don't think anybody wanted to play him in the playoffs last year. I mean, because I'm going to put up 40 on you. Are we going to hold the opponent under 40 and win the game? Yeah. But I mean, after they started out 0 for 3, 0 for 4, whatever it was. But man, when they got rolling, it was like, to me, it was like video game stuff. I mean, Chase. It's interesting. We do. I got to share this because we're talking Joe, we're talking Hendrickson, but we got to talk number 1. Me and my buddy, we do, when we travel, we drive here, we drive there, and then when we're playing golf, we do Mount Rushmore. We do Mount Rushmore of country singers, rock singers, movies, baseball teams. And I was playing. We were playing golf with Zach Taylor and his strength coach a couple weeks ago. So we decided to do Mount Rushmore of Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, my buddy says, "Hey, you got number 1 playing with you." I said, "No, don't put the pressure on him. Don't throw my name out there." But both those guys right away said, "Number 1's got to be in the Mount Rushmore of Cincinnati football." And I mean, the guy is sick. I mean, he is unbelievable. And I know we talked all this other stuff, but I kind of had to go right to number 1 because he is so much fun to watch. And but no, I agree. If that defense and I love the linebackers they've drafted, but that number 1 pick's got to come in and do something. And again, I heard, I'm not as close as people think I am with the franchise, but I hear things. And I heard they're working on it. They're moving progress with Trey. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully that's continuing to go. Hopefully they're kind of keeping it under the radar. And then week 1, hopefully he's there and he's been there for a little bit.
So you think Jamar is already better than Chad and guys like that in the history?
TJ Green, TJ Hooge.
I played JUCO with TJ and Chad. So we are all JUCO products here in LA. But
But you guys are young too. You got to add. You got to add the original 85. Chad Johnson, but I'm add the original. The guy was as smooth as they get. Isaac Curtis. I mean, you take Isaac Curtis's 60, 70 catches back in the day. That's 120 these days. They changed the rules. They changed the rules because of Isaac Curtis. Isaac Curtis turned down being one of the 4x100 Olympic guys to play football. That was Isaac Curtis, and he doesn't get his due. But yeah, I think you got Chad, you got Isaac, and Jamar. I think Jamar, what he's done already is unbelievable.
Nah, no doubt. Anthony, real quick, you blocked for two great dudes. Obviously, Icky Woods, the Icky Shuffle, and James Brooks, who I thought was one of the most underrated backs I've seen growing up. How was that with those two guys? Was it different for the casual fan out here that don't understand everything? Smitty played D lineman, D tackle at mid-major. You would have pancaked them every time, but not
every time.
Let me ask you, Anthony, like if you guys ran zone or power.
I love it, Smitty. You got to have that in you, man.
I'm a dog. I compete. I might not win, but I ain't gonna get my ass kicked every play now. I'm gonna figure something out.
Hey, Anthony, did it change any steps, or did it change if you guys ran zone? I mean, were you picking up, putting down for Icky versus James Brooks? Yeah. You were just reaching the double right away. Like, did shit change for you up front with those backs, or was it always the same scheme? No. They figured it out off your ass.
You know what? Icky was 235. JB was 190. JB could run over you like a 230-pound back, but he could run around you like 190 pounds. He could catch the ball. We're talking wide receivers. He had the hands of a wide receiver. Icky was had that. They both had the knack because let me just I got to say this real quick.
Yeah.
Zone blocking scheme. So a buddy of mine just sent me about 4 plays at Detroit Lions. He said, hey, you got to check this running game. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody can stop it. I watched the 4 plays and I just laughed. I sent him a text back. I said, dude, they're running the zone blocking scheme, but they're running it great. They're blowing that double team off. They're getting to the second level, and they never responded to me. He thought that he had found something new. But there's nothing new under the sun, man. We ran the zone blocking scheme. When you win championships, you're the guru. We didn't win the Super Bowl, so Jim McNally was not the guru of the zone blocking scheme. The Cleveland Browns didn't win a Super Bowl, so Howard Mudd was not the guru of the zone blocking scheme. We were running that in the early 80s, way before Denver won the Super Bowl with Alex Gibbs. Alex Gibbs was a student of Jim McNally and Howard Mudd. Dan Sarnecki at Patriots was a student of these guys. That's what we ran, man. So it was the same thing. We just ran different plays with them, but the double to the second level, 28 brace with Max Montoya out in front of JB, cutting down whatever as a safety or a cornerback. We just ran the same thing. It was get movement with here's something. We doubled with the hands and look to the second level with your eyes. Don't get engrossed in that. We're going to push the guy, but you got to see where that backer is so you can pick him up. If it was Icky, 17, 16, 18, if it was JB, it was the same blocking scheme.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it sounds like you should be coaching again. You're getting back to coaching. You gotta start coaching. I love it. I love
you hear his voice, JB. He got that coach's voice, that passion. Yeah.
Hey, it was still Ace, Deuce, and Trey, huh?
I tell you what, and there was 100,000 more because let me just give you a little insight. Most teams, run the play and we could run one play with 4 different terminologies because we had the regular huddle, we had the tax huddle, we had the sugar huddle, we had the walk-by huddle, and Smitty would be on that defensive line. And let me tell you, Smitty, I know you're a smart guy.
Yep.
Your head would be spinning a little bit with everything we were doing offensively. It would, because the Buffalo Bills tried to get the commissioner to keep us from running the AFC Championship game in 1989. And Sam White said, there's no way, we've been doing it all. We had rule change because of what we did. So you know what we did that AFC Championship game? Instead of doing the no huddle, the sugar huddle, we lined up double tight and ran for close to 200 yards with JB and Icky and said, we don't have to run, all this stuff. We're just going to line it up double tight. and you stop it. If you don't stop it, we're going to run 16-17. You tighten it up. We're going to run 18-19. You loosen it up. We're going to 16-17, and that's what you do. Then we go 28 grace with JB, and then we let Boomer pass the ball 13, 14 times. It's a little play action. We got to give those wide receivers, Collins with Tim McGee and those guys, a little action. Rodney Holman. When you have skilled guys like that, you got to keep them in the game because they were blocking their tails off. And so, to me, it's, you got the ace, the deuce, the all that stuff. But it was just like, check with me, go to the line. You're either going to run inside, outside. You're going to go even or odd. And that's what Boomer was calling the whole day. And we were just like, as offensive linemen, we're like, we don't need to sit there in 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Let's just run it again. I love it. So that was fun.
Hey, Anthony, how was it to be a part of that? Like, it was a phenomenon at the time. The Icky Shuffle. It was kind of like
it was good.
It was like the '85 Bears, right? When they danced after they won it all. And all. How was that becoming part of that culture, like cultural phenomenon when Icky Woods and all that? How was that when it became? If there was social media now, it would have been huge.
Oh,
How was that as far as when he created the Icky Shuffle?
Well, the great thing about it, first of all, was that the guy had an amazing rookie year, over 1,000 yards, powerful runner. But to add the Icky Shuffle, hey, Smitty, one of the most how would you say it? One of the most a dance with the least rhythm I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it caught on. He had the DBs involved in it. And here's the thing. This is how iconic it was. He had Paul Brown doing the Icky Shuffle. Come on. Fedora hat, suit all the time, and Paul Brown is doing the Icky Shuffle. So, yeah, it was fun. I mean, I get a lot of kids. I have a foundation. I've had it for 24 years and speak to a lot of young people. And they go, wouldn't it be fun for you guys to have had the jungle? And we're like, well, let me just give you a little history. Back in '81, it started when we beat San Diego going to our first Super Bowl. But the jungle was rocking through the '80s, and people painting their faces, and they go, really? Yeah, ask your grandparents. They're the ones that were watching me. They're the ones that were watching me play. But yeah, Icky, man, it was a shame that he got hurt. Never really got back from that knee. But man, the guy was phenomenal. It's crazy. You mentioned JB and Icky, but we had a third in that group, and he couldn't stay away from the drugs, man. Probably just as good as those two. Maybe, I don't know, Stanley Wilson.
Oh, damn.
Remember that name?
Hell yeah.
Stayed at Oklahoma. The guy, when we had those three, we could have just run the wishbone. I mean, seriously, that would have been. But he just, he got suspended a couple of times. And if you remember the night before Super Bowl 23, I don't know if Smitty's old enough, but he was in that drug stupor the night before Super Bowl, so he didn't get a chance to play, which is sad. I mean, very sad. But yeah, I mean, to be able to block, think about this: you have Icky, JB, you had Stanley, but then go back a few years. I had Marcus Allen at fullback, Charles White at tailback for 3 years. I mean, it's like
USC,
that is an offensive lineman's dream. And Smitty, I know your dog, man, you'd have been battling, but
come on now.
I would just say tackle those guys. We're going to let you get through, and you just go ahead and tackle those guys.
Hey, Anthony, you mentioned the '88 game against the Bills in the AFC title game. You guys go to the Super Bowl and play the Niners ultimately, but you go against Bruce Smith in that game. Bruce Smith, Reggie White, like all the other greats you faced. Was he one of the ones you had to prep for personally on a different level, or was it just business about going about business?
Well, my prep, regardless of the name, was I always prepped to the highest. I mean, I felt I was going to play the best guy every Sunday, but the best that I've ever played. And I didn't play Reggie. Reggie was on the other side. Reggie might be the best I've ever watched, him and LT. But Bruce Smith, by far, is the best I've ever played. Smitty, size, speed, quickness, strength, smarts. I mean, long. He just was a total package. And I knew that right away when he came in as a rookie. And he was about 285, 280. And then he got down like to 275 and could run all day long. And it's like, okay, game on, man. I had to have my not A game. I had to have my A plus game with him. But, at left tackle in those days, man, every week, just like today. I mean, every time those guys get ready, I had, you got a Bruce Smith, but then you had a Derek Thomas who was 235 that could rush the passer like nobody else.
Right.
You remember he had the 5 sacks one game against, thank God it wasn't against the Bengals, but
Yeah.
he had 5 sacks one game. The guy could, and that was the sad, him passing away. But the guy was amazing. But you just go right down the line, and I just could give you a dozen guys, but definitely Bruce Smith was the best that I've ever faced.
I mean, Bruce getting over 200 sacks in his career, and they played in like a 3-4 front, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I know.
So
exactly.
that is extremely, people don't, that is tough.
Yeah.
That makes it even way tougher playing, in that tight alignment, or even probably 4 eyes sometimes, to get to be that active is incredible, man. So, I mean,
but also this is how good he was. They cocked him over the center at times. How about that?
Right.
I mean, they put him in the middle. So there's a guy that wasn't afraid to go in the middle and, get dirty in the middle. So, but
Bruce played 20 years, right? If I'm not mistaken.
19, 20. Yeah, he finished with Buffalo. Then he played some with Washington. I think it was 19 or 20
So he
years,
literally averaged 10 sacks a season for his career.
Unbelievable.
That is incredible. Think about that. So I want to ask you, there's a big moment in your career that you got to be a part of, the Freezer Bowl. You played in that. I think it was the coldest game in NFL history, and I think you guys as an offensive line group decided to come out there with no sleeves on. Can you explain just that? I guess that conversation and that process, and what went into the mindset to go out there with no sleeves?
That craziness, the stupidity of coming out with no.
O-lineman always wants to do some extra stuff. Even at the college level, you got the O-lineman out there in the field pregame with no shirt on. It's okay to be cold. It's cold out here.
Hey, so as a former defensive lineman, you guys grab at times. You got that material on.
Yeah.
Well, we had jerseys, kind of like they do now. When they bought them, they were 52 extra long. When we put them on our pads, they were like 42.
Yeah.
You had to put them on. You had to have your buddy help you put them on, and so it was, exactly. Like, then you got to make sure you can breathe and loosen it up a little bit.
You're sweating before the game starts. You haven't been on the field yet.
Exactly.
Hey, don't have to take a shit.
Oh my God.
No, don't make any adjustments after that, because forget it. You got it. But, so that was the thing. I mean, we played Buffalo the week before at home, and it was like 52 degrees, a nice football day. And, that was 2 years after I left USC. My last game at USC was a Rose Bowl. I played in 82 degrees, January 1st. Now, so I always had like a little tradition. Max Montoya, who played at UCLA, was my roommate. And I would always wake up. I was an early riser. I'd open the curtain and give him the weather report. It's like Denver. We played 1 year in Denver. We had a walk through the day before. It was like 55 degrees. The next day I said, all right, open the window. I said, I can't see across the street. They had a snowstorm that night, But that morning for that game, I opened the curtain. I said, Max, blue skies and the sun is out. And then all of a sudden we get down. We can't start our car. It's 59 below. I mean, I'll tell you what, it was painfully cold. And like I said, blue sky and the sun's out. So we get to the stadium, and it's like everybody's trying to put this on and that on. And, you put too much, you can't move. So basically it was I always wore a pair of gray shorts under my pants, gray T-shirt, shoulder pads, and jersey. So we decided, because people say, well, did you do it because you had a psychological edge? Well, no, we did it because you wear sleeves. It gives the defensive lineman a chance to grab some material. So we had tailored. We put a little Vaseline, but that didn't help. So we come out bare arm. We come out the pregame warm-up, and it didn't last very long. We spent like maybe 3-4 minutes, and we took it back in the locker room, warmed up in the locker room. That's how cold it was. But when we were out there, we looked across the field, and we noticed 2 Chargers with no sleeves on. Okay, so now we go in, we warm up. The 5 starters, we're no sleeves. Our 3 backups say, hey, you guys are starting, so we can wear sleeves, right? And we said, nuh-uh. Hey, we're a unit, man. No sleeves for all 8 linemen. They're like, this is nuts. So we run back out for kickoff, and me and my buddy said, we got to find those 2 guys on the Chargers that had no sleeves. So we're sitting and we're looking across, and there they are. They had like 2 or 3 layers on. They weren't going bare arm, but we did that, and it was it ended up, I think, being the psychological edge. And here's the crazy thing for you: at least we as linemen could wear gloves. Kenny Anderson, who threw the ball unbelievably that year, MVP, had no gloves on, kept his hands in his pants until he got under center, and then pulled them out and took the snap and threw the ball. I mean, it wasn't as tight as he usually threw it, but it was pretty tight. So I explain that game and say painfully cold, 59 below, coldest. And if every person that has told me that they were at that game was there, we would have had like 300,000 people at that game.
Yeah.
Everybody was there, but I
Damn.
think we had less than 10,000 no-shows with that weather. But it was for the Super Bowl. So you got out there and you played it.
Let me ask something. You mentioned Max, obviously another JUCO, Cali JUCO legend. We've had a bunch on this week alone. We had Dick
Mount Sac
JUCO, Pride of La Puente, right? I think
La Puente. That's right.
Are you and him the best two Latino American offensive linemen ever?
I'm going to be biased. I'm going to say, yeah, I think Max should be in the Hall of Fame. So Max was here a year before I got here, and he was a tackle, and he didn't play rookie year. So we got a new head coach, a new line coach. They moved him to right guard. Rest is history. 16 years, multiple All-Pros. I mean, the guy's great. We saw our grades every week because we had, Smitty, you like this. Our meeting room had sheets of cardboard on, and our grades were there all year long. So if you had a bad game, you went into your meeting and you saw it. It wasn't like give you grades on Monday, then you throw them away. Yeah. And Max's grades were crazy. The guy was unbelievable. He right guard, like I said, that 28 grace with JB going around. If you were a DB, I don't care who you were, Max could get you down. He just had a knack to get you down. And so it was, I would say that Max is I mean, has there ever been, two Latinos on the same line from East LA area?
Both from East LA and Cali. I don't know. That's interesting. But Cali, I try to tell Smitty, Cali.
I got to give you something. And again, I don't know if it's. I mean, I don't care if it's correct or not. But my line coach for my whole career, Jim McNabb, 5'9", and he, I mean, to me, one of the best to ever do it. He would sit in the middle of Max and I with his arms around it. He'd go, "I got the two biggest Mexicans in captivity." It was great. It was great.
He is a legend, man. We've talked about O-line stuff. Let me ask you, what do you got going right now? I know you got the foundation. You had a son that played at a high level. Your daughter, I know, was All-American. I think she went to where? She go to Ohio State or Tennessee? Or?
Well, played 1 year basketball, Tennessee, 3. So Michael, real quick, Michael was the first lineman coming out of high school. He was a 4-year starter at Tennessee, 2-time All-American, 2-time captain. Didn't go on to the next level, but he did some amazing things. Graduated in 3 years, won master's, got a postgraduate scholarship, got another MBA, went to Procter & Gamble. He's working for the state right now. Our daughter, Smitty, you like this? We call her the best athlete. She played basketball. She was a 2-time Division I Player of the Year in Ohio, 2-time Miss Basketball. She committed to Tennessee her sophomore year in high school, played 1 year there, then finished 3 at Ohio State. But we're older now, man. We got 10 grandkids, so we're in the next phase. Michelle's got 2 boys, 2 girls. Girls are 5th and 7th grade. Her boys will be a freshman and sophomore. They got 2 boys in high school, 6'7", 6'8", 14-year-old, and the other one's about the same height. They're going to be playing high school basketball together as freshmen and sophomores. So we've been following them. We're watching our grandkids now in sports, and it's a blast. We just kind of grab our comfortable chairs for whatever sport, and we hang out. Our daughter and her husband and 4 kids built about 400 yards in front of us. We split off an acre here, so they're living here right in front of us. Our son's up in Columbus. But yeah, so it was, it's amazing. People, they'll see me and they go, "So are your kids out of college yet?" I said, "Man, they've been out of college for 25 years. What are you talking about? 20 years. We got 4 high school grandkids." So that's and then my foundation, we're finishing up our 24th year. It's rolling, man. We work with about 25 to 3,000 kids a year with 8 different programs. Everything from mentoring to leadership to character to the spiritual component of life. So I'm doing that. And then I just finished up a 3-year stint, not only being a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I was actually an employee. They created a position. They hired me to work with the new president. So I just finished 3 years, still doing a lot with the Hall. And then, I still try to help out as many other non-for-profits. I do quite a bit of speaking as much as I can. I have a corporate apparel promotional item company that same building as my foundation. So I'm busy. I'm busy and trying to play this crazy game they call golf. Where the ball sits there and it's not even moving. You try and hit that. So I'm playing quite a bit of golf now.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. Personally, what made you stay there? Was it just a great Cincinnati? You loved Ohio. You never thought about coming back home, or just the prices and the craziness here, or what? Or what? You just said, "Screw it, I stayed home." That's
all
my home.
All the above, starting with the craziness. No, you play somewhere your entire career, and we were entrenched in the community. My wife's from SoCal too. I had a job offer to go back to LA 6 days after my last game. Our kids were 9 and 11. I said, you know what? I think we're going to stay here. We love the lifestyle. We love the people. I mean, I look out my backyard. I got 10 acres. I got a 2-acre pond in the back. I got the kids living in front. I don't have to worry about, people put my blinds down because my house is so close to my neighbor. They're seeing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
but I tell the first thing I say is the reason we stayed here is because of people. It is an engaging community. It's a very giving community. I tell people I used to be a member of a team with about 50 guys. Now I'm a member of a team that, they call it the tri-state area. I have my foundation, but I have, volunteers, corporate partners, great board. And that's why we're here. We still get a chance to go back to California, visit family, visit college buddies, which we do, quite a bit. I'll either have a college buddy or a family member. When I'm out there, they'll put their arm around me and they'll say, okay, so when you moving back? And I go, no, we'll keep visiting you and then coming back home to Cincinnati. But there's some give and take. I mean, there's no question that you can't beat the weather out there. But, I'm not willing to enjoy that nice weather 3 hours in the car wherever I'm going. So
traffic is insane. Yes.
But, back here, they keep saying you get used to the humidity, which I haven't gotten used to. I sweat like crazy. When I'm playing golf, I have 4 gloves hanging on my cart. But other than that, I love the fall. I love the winter. I mean, people say, how do you handle? I love the winter. I think I'm a polar bear at heart, so I love the winter. But no, we love it here. And it's the good thing is we have a chance to go back and visit family. Yeah. How about this? So we talked a lot about the pros because, that's really where, my body of work took shape because of injuries. But when we go back to Southern California, there's 5 couples. We usually go out to dinner for anniversaries, birthdays, or just go out to dinner. All 5 guys were freshman football players at USC. Now, get this. Man. That's next year, or that's close to 50 years ago that we were 4 of us were married in college, still married, and 1 couple got married shortly after college. So 5 couples, we hang out, all 5 linemen, and it's just, so we still have those connections. And then here, linemen. They just honored Jim McNally at the Hall of Fame with the new Awards of Excellence thing. We had 10 linemen up there. All the guys we played together, all but one guy who's the O-line coach here now at Cincinnati, Scott Peters, and he played for Jimmy at the Giants. He went up, but we had like 9 guys that played together that were up there. That's one. It really is, and it's a great fraternity. As Smitty knows, haven't played in the league, but now you get that unit that we had to work like a fist, 5 guys together, and it continues, and so that's the great thing about it. But getting back to it's about the people here, and like I said, playing your whole career somewhere, I have been. Financially, I tell people if I could have duplicated my financial stream in SoCal that I have here, I might have thought about it. Probably not now, but people here have been phenomenal. Business, non-for-profit, and just it's been I've been out 32 years now, man. It's been great.
Smitty not even 32 yet. So
there's nothing like living in the Midwest, though. You know what I mean? I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, so we're right next door. I
love Indy. It's 1 hour and 45 for me. I head over there. I love being over there. It's crazy. I love it over there.
Beautiful, JB. I always try to tell them. So.
What high school did you go to?
V. Warren Central High School, the Warriors, Black and Gold, Far East Side. Yes, sir.
All right.
Powerhouse.
Average at best.
Powerhouse.
One more thing. Before you add, I got to add one more thing. So I'll be in Southern California, and I'll have somebody come up to me and they say, "Hey, so where's home?" I say, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. And they'll go, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And I'm like, I'm like, why are you sorry? It's my decision. If I want to live in, and it's almost like, and I say, oh, so you're born and raised in Southern California? Oh, no, I'm from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. We moved here 6 years ago. And I'm like, where's this? Where's
I'm
this?
sorry, right?
But they're always like,
Sheboygan.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you live in back. I said, I'm not, man. I love it. I just had to add that.
That's good. Ironic, huh? Irony is unbelievable. Let me ask you, as you get out of here, I can't thank you enough for hopping on.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you.
Nah, man, you're a legend. Let me ask you, SC. They got Lincoln Riley, Midwest guy, Texas guy, comes out here, goes to Oklahoma, doesn't get it done at the big level, goes to SC. Everybody's hoping and praying. Yeah. I've been saying for a long time, since being cool with Pete and knowing all these guys, sending him players, I think you need a LA or some sort of California guy. Over time, it seems like a Southern California or a West Coast guy has been the guy that's coached that team over the years. Where are you at with Lincoln, and how are you optimistic about SC getting this thing back to prominence, blue blood again, or are you worried a little bit about SC?
Let's put it this way. Opening game last year, Las Vegas, I think we had 20 guys in Mark Davis's suite in Vegas. They physically dominated LSU. I said, man, this defense, night and day from the year before, and I thought they were turning the corner. Then, what did they lose? 7 games in the fourth quarter? I mean, that is so foreign to USC football game. I love what he does with the quarterback. But, bro, it's USC. Student body right, student body left. Give me an ISO. Give me the fullback up on the backer. When you're up in 7 games in the fourth quarter, that's when you pound people. So that, I mean, when I'm around there, I love the atmosphere. I love things, and I've gotten to know Lincoln, but there's certain things that, it's just, I know you can't keep saying back in the day, but even Pete, it wasn't that long ago, and they pounded the ball and they ran the ball and they threw the ball. So, we're hoping. I know there's a lot of guys that, been on some Zoom calls together and a lot of conversations going on. When you got Marcus and Ronnie, and I mean, I can just go down the list, guys that played way back and guys that played recently that are hopefully, things turn around because
they want to see it back to prominence. I know.
There's no reason why it shouldn't be. And I keep hearing about this 26 recruiting class being the number one. And I see the size of some of these guys. I'm thinking, well, hopefully maybe now in the trenches, they're getting backward. Now, skill guys, still years loaded. I mean, it's just like loaded. You talk about guys but I'm sorry. You need the D-line. You need the O-line, right, Smitty?
Yes,
you need the guys that are going to dominate from the beginning to the end, and that's where games are won. I mean, ask Patrick Mahomes. When they lost to Tampa, he lost 2 linemen. And then I told people this year, I said, not so quick about KC winning. Look at Philadelphia's D-line. They'll get after you. You don't have to blitz. 4 guys are going to get after you, and that's exactly what they did. So you need those big fellas that can move and move people out of the way up in front, both sides. And hopefully that will begin to happen there. And I think it needs to happen to get it back to where it should be.
No doubt. Man, it's great. Smitty, you got anything else?
No, that's just it. I just appreciate you. I saw some online, though. Is there a documentary coming out on Netflix about you, or is that not?
There's a lot of AI stuff that's been out.
Okay.
I'm just recently, I went back. I was a part owner of the Bengals. I was going back to coach. Not that I'm aware of, unless somebody's doing something that.
It's probably something. This internet thing is crazy, so that's why I wanted to ask you to make sure. Yeah. I'm like, okay, is there something going on Netflix?
Part owner, coach. They didn't name it all, man. Anthony Muñoz, coach O-line this year.
Breaking news.
Hey, man, much love, man. Best success to you and the family and health. I appreciate you hopping on here, man, and hopefully you come back out here, or I'll see you soon.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Enjoy being with you guys. Keep it rolling. You guys do a good job.
Thank you, brother. Enjoy.
Take care. All right.
Take care, Anthony.
Have a good